I got to the Jesuits is how people fall in love and get married. I fell in love first with a concept of a God that I saw working in people's lives. In my own family, it was my grandmothers in particular who were infirmed, and they were ill, and they were dying, and they weren't afraid. And they had all sorts of love in them that they showered on me, and they never were worried about themselves, and they told me about this God that empowered them to be like that. And it was quite honestly just selfishness. I wanted that. I wanted to be able to live life without fear. I wanted to be empowered to love others. And so my first attraction was two elderly women that I called Grammy and Nani that taught me how to love and told me it was because of a God that loved them. And so then I went through school, and the idea of being a religious, being a priest was very much in my mind, and it scared me because quite honestly, every priest I knew was weird. And now I'm a priest. Anyway, and so I ran from it, and I didn't want to be known as somebody different, and I didn't want to be known as somebody that was weird. And so I kept running from this idea of this God that might be calling me, that Nani and Grammy introduced me to. And I went to school with the Augustinians, and I saw these men who could play softball, and who could teach, and who did not wear clerics, and were funny, and went to movies, and would tease us about going on dates. And I thought, wow, this is sort of like my grandparents and what they showed me, and it fascinated me even more with this God. A God that the Augustinians told me would always be with me, would never leave me, would always care for me, and would sustain me. So after I got out of that, I did what all students do when they don't want to do anything. I just kept going to graduate school. Until I couldn't find the strength to resist anymore. I thought, I got to try this life that looks so appealing, that looks so loving, and it's really about falling in love with people. So I went to the Augustinians, and I said, I'm here. Where do I sign up? And they said, we're so happy you're here, and we've been waiting for you. But before you do it, we want you to go and talk to the Jesuits. And I was crushed, like, I'm not good enough. And they said, no, you're going to be happy somewhere else. Go and talk to them. So I literally walked off the street, rang the doorbell. Jim Kane, who used to work here, came to the door, and he looked at it with great suspicion, like, why are you walking off the street to talk to me? And he gave me some literature, and I went home that night, and everything about the literature was, you know you're a broken person, but you're loved. Can you follow a God that's so invested in the world that he became one with us? And can you take a risk of falling in love without any promise of return? But something will happen. And on that night I said, I found my home. I applied, I got in. And I have bad days, but I have far more good days. Because I love being a Jesuit, but more importantly, I love Jesus. So that's how I got here.